And good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, or good evening, whichever time of the day of the planet that you are currently on. Uh, Tuning in today. Couldn't stream this weekend. I had a lot of stuff going on. I wasn't home until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I had to do stuff around the house to prepare for the week. I've got today off, waiting on contractors to show up to fix my AC system, which they still haven't shown up yet. So I figured I'd do a little streaming and I'd go back to Mars again. I know we picked up and I had started building a base itself on Mars. This is Occupy Mars, the game. If you haven't played the prologue, there's some stuff I do recommend that you play the tutorials first, because it'll give you a basic rundown on how to do things in the game. Unless you're really experimental, don't do the campaign mode. You will die. Uh, right off the bat, go into and do the sandbox mode, and that way you'll be able to learn how to do things and how things are built, so on and so forth. There are some gets in the game that have been irritating me of late, and I will go over some of that stuff now. And how I figured out some of the stuff. All right, so as you can see, I've already got the game up, loaded, and ready to go. So we will jump in and see some of the stuff that I have added to the base thus far. All right, so as of right now, I'm inside the workshop. This was the first building in the materials tech tree you can unlock. This one right here. Once you get this bar full, it'll allow you to, select the next thing you can build. As you can see, I'm pretty decent in the way of the tech tree right now. Some stuff I'm trying to avoid at the moment because there's more things that are more important. Like once I get my tanks, I'm going to go working on the normal tunnels or the normal corridors and the long corridors. Once I get these last two unlocked, I'll be able to work on this bench and get this bench up and running. Because with the bench, and it's with all the tiers, each of the research trees has a different bench or science bench that you have to unlock and build in order to continue building further in the tech tree. Mechanical has one. I think that's my next unlock for them. Nope, I've got to unlock the Mars truck first. Then I'll be able to build the science bench for the mechanical. I have the electrical one built, so everything I get in the electricals tree, I have to. So everything that is past the workbench, it's in a respective color coding in the background. You'll see like a lighter color of that tech tree's color in the background. You cannot build them without going to the science bench to do it. You have to unlock those particular things in the science the science bench. Mechanical, materials, electrical, and botany each have their own science bench. Once you build them, you can go further on in the tech tree. Other things you'll need in order to continue on with certain techs. In the tech tree itself, each individual tech tree has certain things that either they have to be unlocked or blueprints need to be found for them, which helps to encourage the exploration of the planet. Like here, for example, I've got to find this blueprint for more effective suit batteries, so we get a better battery, or a more efficient battery, so we're not chewing through our power so much. All right, so let's take a look around. And so my goal now, my next step is I'm going to try to get as, like I said, with my main concern now is getting my materials up and my mechanical up to the workbenches or to the science benches. Once I can get them up, I can start improving and upgrading more of my tools. and that is key in the mechanicals area. Mechanical area is good for building your vehicles, your Mars truck that they can give you, which is your early version of you being able to load materials into the back of it, and it is a dumper. Your motorcycle, just a two-wheeled way of getting around. Your first one is the actual all-terrain vehicle, and you can unlock boxes to put on the back of it. But once I've got my science bench unlocked for the mechanical side, or mechanic side, I'm going to get, my next goal is to work in the materials, like I said, to get to the workbench, because I want to unlock the small crusher. Because getting the small crusher is going to increase the amount of materials that gets processed and the amount of raw resources I get from the materials I process. Once I do get that unlock in the mechanicals as well, I want to try and unlock this first before I go any further, because one of the things that needs to be unlocked in the mechanical section is the heavy rover, which means I have to go out and find the blueprint needed for the rover and to unlock the large replaceable accumulator, which is found in the electrical. And then, yep, let's see, I've already unlocked it. There was a blueprint needed for it. A lot of stuff in here. It has a lot of steps, and it's more thought out in the progression tree. Some of it can be a little tedious, like having to go to the electrical benches to go further on in the tree, which I actually understand. It's a little irritating, but sometimes the little irritations have a meaning. And I fully understand, just like in Space Engineers, you can build your basic components out of the survival kit for crafting up to your basic refinery and your basic assembler, and you'll need the basic assembler and your basic refinery in order to build the refinery and the assemblers. So it's kind of somewhat in a similar aspect. The only difference, another thing here is this stuff is not tiered, and you don't have to build one thing before you build the other. Actually, I really won't need to find the rover and unlock the rover because I have the rover already, but it would still be nice to unlock it. So if I accidentally destroy my rover, or I need it for unlocking certain things like safer in materials, you'll want to start out with your small crusher. This will help you with your increase in materials and stuff. It only requires the Mars truck. The small crusher, and then your large crusher, your big crusher, is good for the rover, and it's good for any of the dumping. But to get past it, like see here, teleporting vehicle to certain locations, you need the rover for, and so on and so forth. All right, let's take a look around the base inside right now, because I'm inside the actual base itself. So these things are not in operation right now, as you can see, because if you look at the bottom left-hand corner of my screen, you will see my health bar and my hydration bar. Sorry, there we go. That's better. You will see my suit, where it says O2 source is my suit. The altitude I'm currently at, not really that big of a deal. The amount of O2 I have left in my oxygen bottle, and then the O2 inside your building. Now, if you notice, there are 3 green arrows next to the exterior O2 bar. That means I have something inside the building that is helping to produce or fill the room up with oxygen. I need the room to be in a green or blue bar of oxygen before I can start using these two stations. This is an incubator. This is where you want to put your plants before you put them into the pottery over here. This will grow your plants up to 50% growth, and then you stick them in here to grow them the rest of the way so that you have food. And these two items, not only will they require oxygen within inside the enclosed a sealed room, they also need a water source as well. Well, I'll show you where all that's at right now. So this thing over here is what's producing my oxygen. This is the CO2 scrubber. This takes the carbon dioxide out of the air and converts it into oxygen. Here's a small 3D printer. This goes in. This is a workshop printer. So you can print some of the materials you need. This would be considered as like your a combination of your basic refinery / basic assembler into one, because you don't refine anything you find from ore to ingots here in your inventory. It takes the straight ores and turns them straight into components. And everything that's grayed out, you can't build yet because you haven't unlocked in your tech tree. Then this is one of the workbenches. Each bench is color-coded to their perspective tech tree. Therefore, this is the electrical workbench, so it's yellow. Mechanic workbench is orange, and then so on and so forth. Purple for the materials, and then green for the botany. I think it might be red for the tech tree that's kind of locked right now because it's not fully released yet. This is still an early access game, so they're still adding things to the game, and they still short one tech tree. Another one of the things you want to build, try to get unlocked right away, which is in your materials tree, is your workbench. Because as you can see in my tools, on the bottom of my screen right now, some of the health bars are a little on the low side. What this does is you go into your workbench here, your screen will pop up. You can take and grab one of your tools off your hotbar or in your inventory, drag and drop them into the thing and click on the repair, and off to the side here, this little machine here repairs your tools. You can do other things while you're waiting, depending on the tier of your tool. This one won't take long because this is a tier 1. See, it's already done. Then I'm going to go ahead and repair my grinder because it's the tier 2. This one's going to take a little longer. So we'll go outside. Actually, workbench, Oh, this over here is a battery charger. You may collect, depending on how high up you have resources, or whenever you complete a battery printer, you're going to need a place to recharge them, because your suit only takes one battery, and it takes forever to charge it through the normal way, or through the outlets on the solar panels and stuff. So they give you a recharger. For recharging all your batteries, you have 5 different rows, which can store 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 batteries each. So that's 30 batteries you can have in total for charging. This is also really good for multiplayer, because this is multiplayer. It does have multiplayer available. Hey, it looks like we just advanced the technology again, and I can't research anything until I go back to the bench. But before I do that, I want to continue on. One more thing about the incubator and the hydroponics shelf. In order for them to physically start working, I have to go in and adjust their power consumption and the water consumption that they need in order for them to actually physically start working. I haven't done that yet because the building is not full of oxygen yet. So I'm holding off until I get sufficient amount of oxygen inside the building. Now, here's some airlocks. Obviously, we're on Mars, and it's not it's not like Earth. It doesn't have an oxygen efficient atmosphere. Duh. Some of the things I've added 3 batteries for the base. I may add some more later on, going closer to my junction of my transformer over there. And they've got extensions on them or upgrades. So I went from let's take a look at this battery over here. This is your standard battery. Your standard battery power storage is about 190, almost 200 kilowatts of power, which you would seem like you would think would be enough until you start building a base and adding things to it. It's going to need a lot of power just to run the base by itself. Some of the other things, and then when you're adding the upgrades or the expansions to it, now we've almost 500 kilowatts of power. So we can store a lot of power. And down here at the bottom, we can adjust the amount of power output that's put out. Usually you want to go up just 10 to 15 more than what's required for the building. And then my last battery, I will do exactly what the power requirement for the building is. So that way, I'm building up a charge in this battery. So when this battery is full, it's back feeding electricity that's not being used into this battery, which this battery gets full, and so on and so forth. And then I'll have excess battery power left over for when the sun goes down and I don't have a solar source. I have currently got planted outside medium solar panels. I've got 4 up and running for the base. They actually produce about 30 kilowatts a piece. Yep, they 30 to 36 kilowatts a piece. Yeah, they'll start at 30. There's a solar power efficiency improvement that you can find once you find the blueprint for it. Again, with the transformer, it also has an upgrade. That means that I can add up to 8 more panels on here, and which increases the amount of power I can supply to the base, which I'm going to need as I expand. I may end up having to have multiple transformers supplying power to my base, depending on how big I make it. My next step, once I get high enough in the tech tree, is to build a hangar for the rover, to park the rover and my vehicles inside, so they're not going to get damaged by the weather that happens here. Dust devils, solar storms, lightning storms, meteor showers, so on and so forth. All right, so some of the other things I've got going on here. You heard me mention about water and oxygen. So when you first start the game, you want to put down the first thing you want to put down is a well. You build this. It has its own solar panels, so it doesn't require an external power source. But if you want to fill your bottles up at night, hence why I've got the extra batteries supplying power to it. It only really needs 10 kilowatts to keep it running. So you're constantly producing water throughout the night and throughout the day. And also an add-on to the well station, or an expansion, as you could say, is the oxygen scrubber, or your well extension. I'll go into my blueprints here, go into resources. All right, so you'll start out with the well. This is what gives you your water. Later on in the tech trees, you'll be able to this is your well upgrade. This will allow you, the well, to help produce oxygen as well. Then I stuck a couple tanks on the back of them so that I have more external storage than what's stored internally of water and oxygen, then pipe them over to a pumping station, which is this little bugger here, which allows me then to transfer and control the amount of water that is going from my water and oxygen that is going from my well to my building. And I do that from this little panel up here. Click on it. All right, so I've got about 50% water going to my building. That way I may not even need that much water to the building, but it's good to have a little bit more. Anything I'm not using is being backfed into the tank and being stored in the tank. The same with my oxygen. As you can see, my oxygen tank is not all that full right now, so I may kick this down to about 5%. That way I'm not sucking up too much of my oxygen. Then let's see, what other things have I built here? I've added some corridors on here. I've added a 4-way corridor and 4 sets of airlocks. On one side, I'm going to put the hangar bay. The other side, I'll start adding on to the base. I think I'm going to put here the will be the start of my inside farm. And they, as you can see, they're still in their blueprints forms, which means that I'm still missing components. I could build those components, or I can go out to other locations out on the map and salvage, not salvage, holy cow, those components from other buildings. I don't have a high enough tier grinder yet to grind down the actual sites yet, but there are at tier 2 you can start grinding down some of the components outside the building, the solar panels and wells and stuff, that the batteries and that have been left behind, and you get components back in return for what you salvage. All right, so first thing first, as you know, oh wow, my oxygens are low. All right, so let's go fill up our O2 bottles. I'm gonna do that at the pod because it's got more than enough oxygen. So I'm gonna go over to my well and fill up my water first. At about 10 o'clock at night, the temperature will drop down low enough to where it will start damaging you. So you want to try and go and grab me a get a lot of warnings on this game, but some of them are convenient, some of them are not so convenient. But all right, I'm not too low on my water right now. I'm gonna go to my rover later and grab. And let's go grab. Oh no, I've got batteries in the rover. Go into my rover here. Now I could take my helmet off and start breathing the oxygen that's inside here, because the oxygen level is full. But I'm going to hold off on that because I want to try and be sparing with the oxygen I have inside my rover until I've got a decent enough oxygen being produced, and for my food and stuff, and for the base. I may have to set up a second well just to provide water, or to provide oxygen for the rover itself. And in my storage here, I've got some extra batteries. I've also got extra water bottles in here. I won't need that. They're O2 bottles. That way I can go out for long periods of time and not having to worry about stopping. And they have added into it where you can start building your own oxygen and water bottles. You may also find oxygen and O2 bottles, oxygen and water bottles out while you're traversing through buildings and stuff like that, along with batteries as well. That's some of the new stuff they've added into it. Did I put that in here? Put that up there. Put this in here. Potato. Normally about this time of the day, if you go back to your, I'm going to go back to the pod because I'm going to need to fill these bottles. I'm going to empty my inventory for right now of this stuff that I've got in here, because I'm going to be filling this stuff up. Good morning. All right. I put the little green dot. There it is. This is a little pod that has got is a temporary setup where you can get oxygen and sleep until you build a rover or build a bed inside your base. You can only sleep for 8 hours in the chair. But another nice little feature is it's got a nice little printer here where you can print some of the stuff. A little small 3D printer, and then you've got the 3D printer in the workshop. I'm going to go and fill up all my oxygen bottles one by one, unfortunately. Kind of wish there was like an oxygen bottle filling station, which would be similar to, or quite similar to the battery station, where you can plug in multiple bottles and fill those bottles up. But this works. It's not a big deal. There, all my bottles are filled. I could sleep in here, but I'm going to go ahead and step out. And head back over to my rover, which is around here somewhere within my cell. There it is. And we'll take a look at what I've got built over here in the rover area. And the reason why I have it kind of separated from everything else. Now let's go in and change our water bottle out, and then we'll consume some food. Then we'll click on the bed, and as you can see, we can literally sleep almost a full 24 hours before we have to get back up again. But I'm going to sleep until 8 o'clock in the morning. So from 10 o'clock till 7:59 is when it's really cold out, where the temperature is really low. So I'm gonna, and at 8 o'clock is when the temperature starts to rise back up, where it's I can walk around outside without having to worry to get injured. Yes, I just advanced in technology just by sleeping. So I open up my tech tree. Let's see how many points I've got so far. And the tech tree that you get the advancement into, as you saw, at the top of the screen where your health signs are at. And it shows temperature in Celsius, the time and the day, and it shows you what you're being advanced or gaining skills in, or points in. And the little plug thing means that I gained. Once it stays highlighted like that, that means that's the tech tree that I've gotten a skill point or a advancement point in. So we go to our tech tree. It'll also have like a little exclamation point in the sidebar here, telling you that's where your point is at. I have currently got 3. I really can't do anything more on the regular tech tree. I have to go back to the science bench, the electrical science bench, in order to advance any further. But unfortunately, with the exception of protection from cold, I have to go out and search for a bunch of blueprints first before I can start getting more of the advanced stuff. Got anything in materials or workbenches yet, so we won't worry about that. Now let's take a look around the area where I've got the rovers, and notice that they're a little bit far away from my actual base itself. So as you can see, I've got another 8 large or medium solar panels getting ready to go up. I will build those when I come back from exploration, mainly because I've ground down some of the solar panels that are at some of the old rundown bases, and come back and I'll put the materials in there, so I'm not out going and hunting for aluminum and silicon and all the iron and stuff that I need to manufacture the components I need. So I have my own little transformer here. This is not connected to a battery per se, as you could say. I don't have one of the batteries like I do for my base setup, but they are connected to batteries, but they are the batteries for the vehicles. One cable goes to the ATV here, and the other one goes to the large rover. And I've got 4 medium solar panels providing power to these 2 components, and as you can see, I have it split 50-50. I may adjust it later when I go down to building the other 2 vehicles, when I build the motorcycle and the Mars truck, which are really not necessarily necessary, but I'm going to build them just so that I know that and how they function in the game itself. And just like your batteries, your transformer allows you to control the distribution of where your power goes. So this is kind of like your power distribution center here. So that's why I have the vehicles parked off to the side. But once I have the hangar built, and I'm able to park the vehicles inside the hangar itself, I can charge them inside the hangar, and I can I'll be able to repurpose these 4 solar panels and the transformer for something else, or put those materials into building up more power supply for the base. Each one of the major building constructions are going to need specific power supplies and their own O2 supply. So be mindful when you're placing things, where the outlets are facing, or where the plugins are facing. So the interfaces, I guess you could say, are facing. So that you want to try to lessen the amount or the length of your hoses and your power cables. All right, so I'm going to bring my map up now. As you can see, I'm currently in my location. And you're probably wondering what the yellow and blue indicators are. Holy cow! Are pointing at. So I've got. You can drop pins on the map, as you can see over here very faint. So your physical, your little tablet that's on your wrist that we're currently looking at has a radar range of about that far. And then as you move, this will move to reveal more buildings or existing buildings. Now, to extend that radar out, we go into our tech trees, which is in your electrical, and which I need to find blueprints for. I could build a small antenna, but remember, I have to supply power for it. Then there's the medium-sized antenna, and then your big antenna. This allows you to see further out and explore further out. But you don't necessarily have to build them to explore. Please explore. You have up to 3 different pins you can put down. We'll drop one. As you can see here, my home beacon is green. Let me know that this is where my home base is at. It gives me a pin to come back to. Everything usually, oops, I think I messed that one up. Normally to the north, I will use the red indicator, and everything to the south of my building is the yellow. Nice thing about pins as well, and let's see, let me drop a pin so we have an idea of what we're dealing with here. Well, I'll drop a pin here, right? So you right click on what you're trying to drop the pin on the map on. You can name it. You can track it. This is where the color coding comes in. You can give it an icon. You can change the actual icon itself, and you can list or to list or from list. I'm not quite sure what that is, but we won't go there. But and we'll click remove, and then it'll remove that particular pin. So a lot of the next steps I have right now is going to require a lot of exploration, and I'm not going to bore you too much with that because a lot of it is in long driving and going out to faraway locations, because a lot of the closer stuff I've already gathered a lot of the resources from. I need to start finding more tablets or more of the blueprints. So I'll be exploring more of Mars and looking for more of the bases and stuff like that around. And then, continue on building up the base. Hi, thank you for joining me for the second installment of my Occupies Mars. I'm doing this now to kind of give me some brainstorming ideas for my space engineers and trying to figure out what's going on with my Twitch. Until then, I'll be doing a lot of my streams on YouTube. I think I need to either upgrade my computer or upgrade my internet speeds, which I plan to do at the end of the fiscal year in the United States, which is in October is the beginning of 2024's fiscal year. So again, I thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed the video.